All right, Richard, welcome to Japan.
Thank you very much, Scott. It's a great honor to be here.
Oh, and thanks for stopping by here at HobbyLink. It's actually quite a pleasure to have you guys here.
Well, thank you very much.
Your products are kind of the talk of the industry right now, I think. So you're an accomplished modeler in your own right then.
I've done a bit of modeling, yeah.
Okay, and that would perhaps be part of the reason why your famous boss, Peter Jackson, decided to hire you to run WingNet?
It probably had a little bit to do with it, yeah.
Could you tell us about how you got to know Peter and how this dream job sort of came your way?
Yeah, well, I was manager of a shop in Wellington called Model Crafts and Hobbies, and had been there for a while, and Peter stops in there occasionally, as many local hobbyists do, picking up stuff, and so he'd been a customer for a while. He'd bought a few of my pieces that I've made, and I guess when he was looking around for somebody to tie the whole sort of Wingnut Wings project together, he thought of me eventually, and that's sort of went from there.
Well, that's high praise and a high honor.
Oh, I'm very lucky.
So Wingnut Wings as a company was started by Peter, and he was the whole basically idea behind it, basically?
It's Peter's project, yeah.
Peter's baby.
Yeah.
So he's just been deeply interested in World War I aviation for a long time then?
For a very long time, yeah. And a very keen modeler and hobbyist as well.
Have you seen any of the stuff he's built?
Well, I think we've all seen stuff he's built in his movies, in his earlier movies. Not necessarily World War I airplanes or anything, but...
Are you personally interested in World War I aviation?
Oh yeah, it's I've had a long interest in World War I aviation, mainly brought about from a TV show. I don't know if it was the BBC or ITV or whatever, but way back when I was a kid, it was a TV show called Wings, and it was set in World War I, and I was always too young to watch it. And then one night, for some reason, I was able to watch it, and I thought it was fantastic. And then some guy got his hands cut off when he was turning the propeller, and I thought it was horrific, and I never wanted to watch it again. But I really liked the show. And on top of that, there was a great series of books by a guy called Derek Robinson. And the best one, or the first one I read, was called Goshawk Squadron, and that just really brought home to me the grittiness and just the horror and the on a wing and a prayer of the early aviation fighting and stuff, and I've always had an interest since then. Right.
So all of the design work and research and all that is being done by your team in New Zealand, right?
Yeah, we have a good dedicated team of digital modelers in the office, in the studio, and that's where all the digital modeling is done. Research is mostly undertaken there as well. We've got a great database of photographs, and we can tap into the Vintage Aviator, another company that Peter's involved in that builds real airplanes.
That's the one-to-one scale models that he's involved with, right?
Yeah, one-to-one scale. Not so much plastic, but lots of, it's just like model making, but very, very, very big. And they obviously, as they build real planes, they need very detailed plans and stuff. And if we're lucky enough to be building something that they've already made a real plane of, then we can tap into their references for that, and that's fantastic. But often the things that we're making just don't exist anymore, and the plans have all burnt up in the Second War.
Yeah. So the first kits hit the market. It was April of this year, and how's the reception been?
It's been fantastic. We've really been blown away, and the most satisfying thing that we've found is that people who may not have ever considered doing World War I airplanes, buying them and enjoying building them. People who mainly don't even make aeroplanes are buying them and building them, and that's
well,
really
that's
fantastic.
That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge for the industry when you get into that territory.
And the key is that they're enjoying doing it, and the parts, the people are finding the parts fit together as they're meant to, and things sort of line up, and which has always been a difficult thing with biplanes and stuff. And we've put a lot of effort into trying to make these things fit together well.
I must say that not just the fit and the detail of the parts, but your packaging and the instructions are a work of art in themselves. I mean, some people may not have seen them yet, but it's almost like a builder's reference guide, not just how to stick part A on part B, but beautiful photos of the actual aircraft and full color diagrams. It's just amazing.
Yeah, well, again, it's just something we want to do, is just make everything as good as we possibly can. And we've got a passion for that, and we hopefully it shows through. And we want people to get the kit, open it up, and not have to go and buy all sorts of reference material and stuff. And we do have the resources in many cases to include a lot of those rare photographs of the real aircraft and museum examples where they exist. And anything we can do to help and make the whole model making process more enjoyable is effort well worth spending.
On your website, you have that coming soon page, which does disclose what some of the new releases are going to be coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about those? And
we're just working our way through World War I, and there's so many fascinating aircraft designs that have, and aircraft evolved so rapidly over that period. There's a lot to get through, and I'm pretty sure it's around 20 or 21 kits we've got released, nearly released, being tooled or being digitally modelled right now. So,
wow.
And there's plenty more to come.
Wow.
As part of the process, I need to build them all many times over.
You
test shots and no, it's great. Although it does get a little repetitive building test shots over and over again. But it's a real holiday when suddenly you get the final results, final shots, and you get to paint them and take a bit more time and assemble them like a real model, and it's almost like a holiday.
I'm sure there's a lot of people watching this video who are just drooling with jealousy, at the possibility of having a job where you basically can get paid to build models. Is it as much of a dream job as it sounds like?
It is a dream job, but it's not being paid just to build models. There's a hang of a lot more involved in that. It's just a tiny portion of what I need to do is building test shots and stuff. Yeah.
Wingnut Wings is from New Zealand. Peter Jackson's from New Zealand. You're from New Zealand. There must be a little bit of perhaps national pride in bursting onto the model scene like this. I mean, up to now it's been American companies, Japanese companies, Italian companies, British companies, some Eastern European companies. It's like, I don't think anybody expected a new model from out of New Zealand.
Well, there's always been a cottage industry in New Zealand, but no full-blown injection moulded company.
Right.
So yeah, it's pretty special. But and we are mostly New Zealanders, but initially it's almost like the United Nations.
How many full-time staff on the payroll?
Oh, now see, now you're trying to trick me. Look, we have a lot of contractors working for us, but there's like 12, 13 full-time.
Wow.
So it's not a hang of a lot, but we get by.
Well, that's probably the amount of staff you're going to need to get as many kits in the pipeline as you say you've got. So it's looking like it's going to be a really exciting 2010 for Wingnut Wings.
Oh, we're looking forward to it.
And so are we. Thanks very much for your time today, Richard.
Thank you very much,
appreciate it.
Scott. Cheers.